Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Looking at the put to call ratio right now, it's pretty low. It's at 0.48. The last time it was this low was back in November 15th, 2023. So it's very, very, very low. So that means everyone's in calls, everyone's very bullish, too bullish. Whenever the sentiment is too much, it ends up going the other way. So yeah, definitely too many people on the caller side, especially with SPY breaking 500. People probably think it's going to go to 510, 520. Who knows? It could, but I think that something's going to end up happening. What it will be, I have no idea. There's so much going on in the world. Could be one of 20 things that's happening right now. One of the things that's happening right now is that Biden was ruled incompetent to a trial, but yet he's running the country. I'm sure that's going to come into question, and the reporters and a lot of people are questioning that, his inability to be at court, but yeah, he's running a country. He's even capable of being in the presidency. So that's something that could play out soon. And if he does manage to step down or get forced to resign or whatever, or even withdraw from the presidential candidate race, that might have a big impact on the market. I don't know. We'll have to see. So, like I said, many things happening in the world. You could basically pick one of 20 things that are major right now. I don't want to go through them. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse because I'm talking about the same ones over and over. There's still a factor that's still in play, and something's going to end up happening. Just a matter of what it will be and when. But looking at the economic calendar, Monday, don't see anything pre-market. Tuesday, we got inflation data coming out, core CPI month to month and year to year. Comes in hot, market will end up dumping. But the way that I don't trust any of the numbers that come out, because the government numbers and what's actually happening is two different things. So the government's faking the numbers, inflating the numbers, so just to make themselves look good. It's an election year. I wouldn't trust any numbers coming from the government, especially when it comes to like how strong the economy is, because they're faking it right now to make Biden look good, or Democrats, or whatever it may be. So it comes in hot, and the market could drop and fully recover by the time the market opens. It's been doing that a lot lately. The market will drop, then it will recover, then it will rage like nothing happened. It's just this whole thing is just completely rigged. I know that everybody knows the market's rigged, but it's just more bluntly obvious how they're faking how good the economy is, when everyone knows it's garbage. The underlying data and all this the signs are there that the economy is really bad, but yet the numbers are just coming in better than normal, miraculously. So I can't seem to get my throat to clear. But anyways, core inflation, CPI Tuesday. Then Wednesday we have we don't really have anything Wednesday. We got bar speaking at 4, but that's the market's closed by then, so nothing Wednesday. Thursday we have core retail sales, Empire State Manufacturer unemployment claims. That's going to be a big one, because I'm sure those numbers will be fudged, the unemployment claims, at 8:30. And the rest of the day, don't see anything. Friday we got PPI month to month. So then we get preliminary consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. So yeah, the big days are going to be, let's see, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, as far as like economic data coming out. So watch for those days. But like I always say, check the economic calendar every single day. Sometimes surprises come up. Yellen starts speaking, or Powell starts speaking out of the blue, or something ends up happening that was not on the docket when I covered it before the week. So check the docket every morning. Just in case, and check the put to call ratio every morning. So those are the two big things you need to check every single morning: put to call ratio and the economic calendar. Now, I said that, if VIX didn't pop, I was probably going to go back to 12, and it's at 12. But one thing I want to look at, though, every time VIX closed a green candle on the daily, it ends up popping. It popped here. It popped a little bit there. It popped here, popped here, popped here, it popped here. So anytime it gets into 13, it has a green candle, it ends up popping. So maybe we pop this week. I mean, one day we need to actually have a real legitimate move on VIX, not this pop to 14. I mean, this is not the Obama administration. VIX is just so grounded, so not moving at all, based on all the unknown factors that are happening. Is Biden going to get? Is he going to be forced to step down? Is he going to withdraw from the presidency? We get China, we get Russia, UK, we get the Red Sea, we get inflation, we get rate cuts, we've got, did I say the Red Sea? Yeah. And we get credit card delinquencies. I mean, there's a million reasons to be bearish, a million, and not one to be bullish about. What are you going to say? The AI hype. That's every bubble ends up having a massive pop, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. This is an AI bubble, a semiconductor bubble. They're just up so much, and every bubble, it's going to pop. The question is NVIDIA going to go to? Is it going to go to 800? Is it going to go to 1,000 before it pops? I don't know, but when it does end up popping and taking a crap, it's going to be glorious. So yeah, I mean, VIX really needs to push to make a run to 20 plus, 25. Something's going to end up happening. I mean, look at the weekly. The weekly is just so compressed. It's been compressed for so long, and when it's compressed that long, I mean, like right here, it was compressed for a little while, then it made a little lower, then we had a violent bounce. So VIX does not like being compressed like this. VIX does not act like this. And I know people are going to say it's a bear flag. VIX, that doesn't mean anything. VIX does not look, you cannot use VIX like that. I mean, yeah, maybe VIX goes up to 12. But VIX is a coiled spring. When you push it down and it stays down too long, it has a violent bounce. VIX can only be compressed so much. It's not a stock. It doesn't go to zero. The last time it went to $10 was during the Obama administration. We are not going to $10. Not with all these unknowns. Maybe we hit the 12. Maybe we get under 12. But if we get under 12, it's going to be really, really quick. But anyways, when that spring gets compressed, it slingshots. And that's what VIX is going to do. The question is when and what will it be? So hopefully we see a push to 20 or 25 on VIX. So SPY, like I said, was making all-time highs. It's over 500, close over 500. I mean, at 14 out of 15 weeks was green. It's unheard of since 1972. And after 72, 73 to 74, we had a massive dump. I think the market lost like 50%, if I remember correctly. I was looking at it the other day, over the weekend, and the last time we had this kind of run up, and like a year later, the market lost 50% of its value. So we get all kinds of things coming out that could take a year or two, maybe a year, before we actually end up seeing a really massive dump on SPY. But things are, not gonna look too far ahead. We're gonna focus on one day at a time, 1 week at a time. And right now the RSI is over 70 on the 75 on the week. This bearish divergence going on since mid-December. Right, RSI is making lower highs as price is making higher highs. I'll blow this up. You got 3 candles outside the Keltner channel, 3 bodies of weekly candles outside the Keltner channel. that the price does not like staying outside the Kelvin channel. It always finds its way back in. So I'm looking for a pullback this week. So I would watch it underneath 500. We get to 500 basically every $5, 495. I'm going to gap to fill at 494, 490, 485, 480 is where we actually broke out. We could come back and test the 480 range. Then we could probably make it like a inverted cup and handle or something like that on the weekly or something. I don't know, but we got lots of gaps to fill on the way down. We get this gap down here at the 445. We got gaps down here at 432 and 425. These gaps will get filled. It's a matter of when and what will the reason be. Right now it feels like in order to get a red day, you need to have like a meteor hit the planet or something like that, because it just cannot get a red day. And for the market to end up losing 10% of its run, I mean, it just seems like it's unheard of now because of this massive AI run up. Because that's basically what it is. This whole run up from 410 was excitement about having 6 to 8 rate cuts, maybe it was 6 rate cuts a year this year in 2024. So this whole run up was the 6 rate cuts for 2024. Then Powell started to backtrack it a little bit. We're not going to have 6. We're not going to have as many. What we'll have, maybe we might have some. Then the AI hype really, got caught got some momentum, and it just started taking off even more. So this was rate cut hype right here. Then this is AI hype right here. So we probably could have started to drop right here, but the AI mania started really picking up steam. So we haven't rate cut yet. I don't even think we're even going to rate cut at all, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to do it at all this year. Inflation is going to end up coming in hot. They rate cut when inflation starts rising. We're going to have the 70s all over again. Well, the inflation is going to rocket right back up to 9-10%, and the Fed's going to lose all credibility. Not that it has any anyways, but Fed's going to get into a massive corner, and a bunch of things are going to end up happening. So I don't think that we're going to cut rates. So I mean, the market makes this massive run up on rate cut hypes, and yet we're not having them, and they're backpedaling about having them, but yet the market's not dropping. So it's really sketchy right now. A lot of sketchy bullshit going on in the market. So I wouldn't trust any it going up much more. I mean, I don't trust the call side. You can play it all you want. I'm not going to, because everything is pointing towards a drop. The RSI on the weekly, the bearish divergence on the daily, all the things going on in the world, the VIX being really, really low. This is a time not to get FOMO and go on calls. That's just stupid in my opinion. But hey, what do I know, right? To me, it's just too dangerous on the call side, so I'm not touching it. NVIDIA, we'll bring up NVIDIA since we're talking about the AI. I mean, look at this right here. So this is the second steam on SPY right here. This is what caused SPY and QQQs to go crazy on that. And this is just ridiculous. I mean, from 500 to 700. I mean, that's $200 plus in a few weeks, 5 weeks. So this is going to end up losing steam. I mean, look at it. It's 83. It was 80 up, like 80 right here, and it dropped a little bit. And now it's back up there. So it chopped to bring the RSI down so we could run more. Could we do the same thing? We could pull back a little bit and chop more, then maybe run up more. I don't know. But the RSI is way, way too high. It's just crazy that you get a bearish divergence right here in the RSI from here to here with price, but yet you don't on the MAC, on the histograms, which is kind of odd. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. And the daily RSI is above 80. It's crazy. It's just too much crazy. I would watch it underneath, let's see, 715. Gets to 700. If it loses 700, we could end up dropping down to 680, 650. Feel like gap right here at the 630. So NVIDIA's got tons and tons of room to drop. I mean, this is just like any other bubble that's going to end up popping. I mean, just what, a year ago? A year ago, beginning of January 2nd, 2023, NVIDIA was at 140. And look at it, a year and a month later, it's gone up 600%. It's just ridiculous, the amount of run it had. It's going to end up losing it. So to me, it's got earnings coming up next week. So maybe what I'm thinking is that maybe they have put out a blistering earnings report and it ends up popping up to 800 or 850 or something like that. Then we have that fade, because sometimes you have that big earnings massive gap up and fade. We could end up seeing that. I mean, that could be the thing that turns around NVIDIA and the semiconductors is NVIDIA's earnings, or unless some other news comes out about chips or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, NVIDIA is going to be a great short when it happens. But the question is, who knows? I wouldn't try shorting it now. Like I said, earnings is next week. I mean, it could keep grinding up to 800. Then earnings could come out and it could pop to 900. And then it could start fading, or it could keep rolling to 1,000. Who knows with NVIDIA? This trading like a penny stock. It's just stupid right now. Netflix. Netflix is just rejecting this 580 area. Rejected it once, twice, and now it's kind of like making a lower high. So I'd watch NVIDIA underneath 555 or push to 550. Then you get gap support down here at 535. If it manages to get the gap support, it probably ends up bouncing, but it could end up bouncing a little bit, then making another shoulder. It could make a shoulder. So you get a left shoulder here, then you get a head here, then it could bounce, that come down here and bounce, make a right shoulder, then make a head and shoulders pattern for gap support, then flush it and fill the gap. So have to watch Netflix for that. But that's something that could take several weeks to play out, or even a couple weeks. I also want to look at, it's flagging on the weekly. I mean, the weekly, we got a strong green candle from earnings, a pull back a little bit, so it is flagging. So if it does manage to get over 575, it could push to 600 and 650. Then you get 700 is basically the all-time high is 701 or 799. Does it get there? I don't know. But I'm thinking we're going to end up pulling back and maybe at least testing the gap support right here on Netflix. Tesla looks like it's ready to pop and fill the gap. Right here, it's right at gap resistance right here. I would watch it over 195. We'll round up a little bit to 195. It gets over 195, it's going to shoot to 200, then go to 210 and fill that gap. Definitely watch Tesla. I think that could be a good one. Meta is part of the AI ridiculousness. To me, I'd be watching it to drop, assuming that the market ends up dropping. RSI on the weekly is 83, 76 on the daily. Massive earnings gap up. So I would watch it underneath. I would even say watch it underneath 460. Get the gap support at 455, and it could drop straight down from there. It gets underneath this gap support right here, that it could end up having a nice fall off and go to 440, 430, 420, 410, 400. It's got lots of room to fall right there. So it's open air. It breaks this lower day, or this low right here. It's got lots of room to drop. So whether it drops or not, we'll have to see. Maybe the mania continues. Who knows? I mean, this is just crazy. Microsoft, another one over 80 on the weekly. Bearish divergence on the daily. Get the price going up and RSI going down, histogram going down. So I would watch it underneath 420 or even underneath 415 for push to 410. 405, 400, every $5, 395, 390, 385. Big area to watch would be the 385 right here. if it does manage to drop that much. So definitely keep an eye on Microsoft. Apple, I mean, I hate Apple, but I would watch Apple underneath 188, push to 186, 184, down to the 182, 180 area. Now, if it does lose this 180 area, we could end up seeing 175, 170 on Apple. The market starts dropping, we could end up seeing that go. And Apple's much weaker than everything else. The Apple Vision virtual headset thing it looks disastrous. So it probably won't do well. Maybe it will, I don't know. But I don't think Apple's done for. It's just got no innovation left. It's just rehashing old products and just making its camera a little better and its clarity a little better. I think Apple's just a scam. They're not as good as they used to be. They're just a rehashing shit. So that means they're out of when companies rehash and do things like Apple's doing, where they have a product and they just make the camera a little better, make that a little better, and that a little better. They're out of ideas, and then just basically just trying to capitalize on that one idea they have good. So now Boeing's back in this notorious 195 to 215 channel that it was in. It popped out, came back underneath it, had a massive run up, came back down. We practically called this top. I didn't play it, but we practically called it up here in the room. And I was pointing out, I think in the maybe it was 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was talking about it on the watch list about the drop. Now we're back down here. 200 is a big solid support. So I would watch it for maybe a pullback to 200. And if it does manage to lose 200, we could end up coming back down to the 195 area, because that's where the wicks are. And if it breaks 195, we probably see 180. But I don't know. It's going to be pretty hard for it to get under 195. So if you want to play the channel, you can. I don't like playing these channels. But I mean, if you go based off the channel, it's rejecting the middle Keltner on the daily, that it could end up seeing down 200 on BA. So you can get a little bit of a play of that. I know some people in the room like playing BA, but why do you say Biz? What is Biz anyways? Oh, it's biotech. Disney, massive earnings gap up. Yeah, Disney is just kind of like Roku. Every time you get a massive pop, it sells. Pop sells. I don't think this time's any different. I don't think Disney is going to do very well. Is doing very well. I would watch it underneath 107. Actually, we'll just say 108 or even 107.5. We'll just say 107. Gap, which is gap support right here. It loses 107. It's got room down to 100. So I'd watch Disney for that drop on that for these earning gap up and dumps. So they end up gapping up and then selling off. And it's literally like Goku. Sorry, why did I say Goku? Roku. That it gets the massive pop and then just sells off. Roku does the same thing. It's just a mirror image of Roku, except Roku is making higher lows. It's actually doing a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to get over 100. I mean, maybe it does this time. I mean, it's setting up for a pretty good run if it does manage to get over 100. But Roku just hasn't had a good run in a very long time. It just gets squashed every time it starts to get any momentum behind it. So I don't think it's going to get far. So I would watch Roku too, over 100. I mean, maybe it gets to 100 and pops to 110, 120. But back years ago, you might have to go out a couple of years. It used to run really good. It used to have monster days. I mean, this is a $100 week right here, and you don't have $100 weeks anymore. That's what, 40, 30, that's $30. And these big green candles that look like massive, they're $30. I mean, that's just, Roku hasn't gone anywhere. We don't have the momentum it used to have. It just doesn't have that anymore. So who knows? Maybe Roku is actually finding a way to actually turn around and maybe get to 150, 200 again. I don't know. So Roku does look a little better now. Now it's making higher lows. We'll have to see if it actually does do something. But we'll have to see if it gets to 100 and sells off, because Roku is just notorious for doing that. So I know I remember a lot on this watch list. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I like. That's what I'd be watching. We'll take it day by day. Hopefully something happens this week. We get some volatility. I know one thing I'm getting really sick of is the really massive volatility pre-market. And when we get to market open, there's nothing. Where we get $3 or $4 gap up or gap down of volatility pre-market. Then when we get to open, we're stuck in a dollar range, and we range, and yet pre-market got all the action. I'm getting really sick of that. So hopefully something happens where the day actually gets some volatility. We need volatility. So that's going to do it, and thanks for watching.